All right, Gold Digger, we are back for part 3 of our automation series. So if you want to whip your business into shape, this episode is for you. Also, some really cool things to share with you before we dive in. First off, we have a brand new resource for you. It's totally free, and it's the Productivity Power Pack. You can look below this video to grab it, but we have over 1,000 Canva templates for you. Yes, a brand new Trello board so you can do all your project planning. You're going to get our team's curated list of their best tools for automations, which is perfect to go along with this episode. You're going to get a short 5-video series I put together. And finally, editable daily, weekly, and monthly planner templates. So look below for that. And the AI video course is here. You've been asking me how to generate AI videos, and this is going to be useful for everything from short form videos to stories to YouTube episodes, podcast episodes, and you can use them for so many different things. So I'm going to teach you everything you need to know in the most simplistic way. So look below this episode to grab that course. We would love to have you there. Now let's dive into the episode. And I'm actually really excited to share this with you guys because we're going to get into the specifics of productivity. We're going to get into the specifics of time blocking. We're going to show you exactly some things that you can do with your day-to-day that are, you can actually see them and taste them with what we're going to teach you today, where yesterday was a lot about the different tools and things and just why automation, right? Building that belief system and shifting your mind around it. Today's going to be a lot about the way to become more productive and to manage your day. So I know you guys are going to love it today. So I do want to mention this. This is extremely important. I've already noticed a couple of you doing this, and I'm not going to say any names, but just talking in conversation. So this is what you want to think about. How many of you have signed up for something and you knew it would help you with your business, a tool, let's say, and you didn't use it? Put me in the comments if you've signed up for it. Well, instantly when I asked you that, I bet you $1 million, there was a little bit of shame. Okay. A little bit of shame where you're just like, oh, how does she know? Okay. I know my people. What I want to challenge you to do is instead of feeling shame, instead, I want you to acknowledge and realize that that is actually self-sabotage. It's not, you shouldn't feel bad about that. There's a reason why you're doing that. Okay. What happens is often is that when we are, this is so important for you to understand. When we are about to do something new, and Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about him, I've also studied under Dr. Joe. When we are starting something new, you're in the river of change, okay? It's literally, you're here on this bank where you've been since you were forever, okay? And you're stepping into the river of change. You want to do something different. And in order to get to the other side, it's bumpy. There are rocks. There's water flowing through. There's rapids. It's unknown. It doesn't feel safe. You know what happens? 90% of the time, you go back to the original bank and you're safely there because your subconscious mind likes safety. It wants to know you're okay. It doesn't want you to change. So you get excited when you're with somebody like me and we're teaching you about something. You're like, right. And you sign up for the automation tool or Trello and you're going to organize your life, right? And you don't get in there to do it. Why not? You were excited because you were excited. So it was enough excitement to overcome the fear and it didn't sink in yet. And you stepped in the river of change and you were ready to go. And then you were by yourself, right? It's like when you get home from convention, those of you in direct sales and network marketing, or you've been to any kind of conference, you get home and it's like, where is everybody? This is lame because you're not with them anymore. You're alone. And when you're alone, it's so easy to just go back to old ways. Okay. So if you can acknowledge it for what it is, you just look in the eye, you give yourself a self-talk and you say, no, I am going to log in and I'm going to learn how to do this. And then you're going to schedule time to do that. You don't want to just wish for it to happen and you to suddenly be motivated. You got to schedule for it. Okay. Understand that you are not going to be perfect at this. You're probably going to also suck at something like this. Something new, implementing a new automation tool or putting a new system in place is not easy. You've been doing this for a certain way for so long, okay? So we want to focus on progress. And oh my goodness, who was it that maybe one of you guys know who quoted this? I just heard this yesterday. It wasn't Abraham Lincoln. It was somebody like that, though, a president or something. And they said, or is it Winston Churchill? The key is with failure to be successful is when you can go from failure to failure without losing excitement, that's how you become successful. So for me, ask the team, and we make mistakes every single day. And we're like, okay, lesson learned. Next. We're not like, oh my gosh, we suck. The world is ending. We literally make mistakes every single day because there's so much stuff that we're doing. Do you guys notice or care? No, because we're progressing. We're making an impact. We're showing up. That's way more important than sitting here trying to be perfect. Mastering time automation is going to focus on time blocking. Okay. How many of you know what time blocking is? How many of you know what it is, but you don't do it? We want to think of our days as systems. So what we're going to do is we're going to time block to automate some of the things that we're doing day in and day out, but we're going to become more efficient by batching things together and getting blocks of time. We actually use and I'm going to skip over this because you can read that on your own. We actually use a different part of our brain for different tasks and different areas of our life. You're different when you're with your kids. You're different when you're doing housework. You're different when you're doing errands. And you're definitely different when you're a boss at your desk. Okay. Or if you have a full-time job or a part-time job, you have a corporate job. That's a different headspace you're in than when you're at your desk, maybe creating content. So this is what I want you to do. We're going to have homework implementation for this. So I just want you to kind of listen as we go through this. But I want you to make a note of, just jot down in the comments for the ones that stand out for you that you need to work on automating. You need to work on putting a system in place for. You need to work on time blocking. Okay. Number one is work and business. So this would be if you're somebody who you're struggling with, especially I know we have staff members even that have little kids at home. This can be where you have a hard time with compartmentalizing your work. So we're going to really be focusing on you building your business. So we'll think about you as an entrepreneur. You're having a hard time focusing on your business, your empire. And what you find yourself doing is since you're at home, especially you're at home. So you end up doing the dishes when you should be creating content, or your family doesn't understand that if you're on your phone, you're not scrolling, watching TikTok kitty videos, hopefully not, or funny doggy videos where the dog's like swearing and there's a voiceover. You're actually working on your business, or you're at your desk and people are just barging in and out. Okay. So my whole family knows if the doors are closed, do not just walk in unless it's an emergency. What they do is they'll slowly open the door and peek in. And sometimes the door is closed because I just got finished with something and I'll be like, come in. They don't just barge in. Okay. Even when they were little, they would just kind of sit there and peer in through the glass doors. And they know, I've taught them from day one, when the doors are closed, mommy's working. I mean, think about it. When, traditionally a husband goes off to work, it would be ridiculous for the mom or the kids just to barge into their office at their job. People would think that was crazy, right? Nowadays, it's a little more, lax. But back in the day, that was like, how many of you saw The Notebook? Oh my gosh, it's still my favorite movie of all time, like for real. So, the part where Allie goes to his office, is it Len or who's her fiance in it? And she's like, hi, can I come in? And he's like, of course you can. You're my fiance. It was like weird that she like came to his work and wanted to like say hi and talk to him. I know, I love that movie. So that is what we want to be thinking about. Like, we have to put boundaries, and you don't have to be like that, but people need to feel that you're at your desk, you are working. You have to be able to figure out how to have those boundaries in place. So put a 1 in the comments if you struggle with that. You struggle with time blocking your work time. You are wanting to work all day long on your business and the whole day goes by and you're like literally like, Kimberly, aside from watching your amazing workshop yesterday, I can't tell you what I did yesterday on my business to work on it. I literally don't know what I did, but I was working all day and you can't tell me. Okay. Number 1 is an area for you to focus on. Number 2 is family time. So we're going to allocate time for spending quality moments with your family, including meals, playtime, and bonding. So with family time, this is typically for somebody who is working full-time, building their business. They have a lot of non-family demands, or they tend to be they love working. I'm one of those people. Okay. I love working. In past lives, I must have been like a battle warrior chick, or I must have had like a huge ranch and I like farm. Like, I love working. Okay. I could work all day long. I have to make myself go to bed every night. I'm like, you need to go to bed because you need 9 hours of sleep. Go to bed. So family time for me, a 2, until I understood all of this, was such a struggle. I always felt guilty because I would rather be working. And so when I'm like with my kids, I'm thinking about working. Anyone relate to that? Now I've taught myself, I actually learned this from a friend of mine that she does some coaching with me, but we call it, this is a sacred moment. So when I'm with them and Elise is like coloring right here in the office, I always just say to myself, this is a sacred moment, or if we're all together watching Family Matters at night, like this is a sacred moment. Or if we're, sometimes I'll just go walk around outside because we have a beautiful back area and they'll come and hang with me. They just love being around me. Of course they do. They're my kids, right? And I'm like, oh, this is a sacred moment. So that's been something I've had to work on is number 2. Maybe the same for you. Number 3, self-care. We all know this. Some of you've got it going on. You go to the gym, you exercise, you're doing your stuff. Some of you are not. If you find yourself burnt out, exhausted, you just don't have any energy, this would be one to focus on because it's always, oh, there's no way I could take time for that. You're the exact person who needs self-care. Number 4 is household chores. So this is going to be something where nothing's getting done. Your house is a disaster. I don't recommend letting dirty dishes sit there for days on end, guys. Okay. If you want to crush your business and run an empire like a boss, that also means your home should be somewhat running efficiently. And I've had clients where I've worked with them one-on-one and I'm like, you need to clean your house up. And they're like, what? I'm like, that is literally what you're doing this week. You're not doing anything else. Because your environment, if it's a hot mess and there's crap everywhere, how in the world are you going to come sit at your desk and crush it? So that's your environment. You're seeing it all day. It's a thing. Okay. Now what this is for household chores, are you finding yourself last minute running to the grocery store right after work or in the afternoon because you need to get stuff for dinner? And then the next day, the same thing. Oh, I didn't think about what I was going to do for dinner. And you're running to the grocery store again, right? Or you are cleaning throughout the day because you're like, oh, I got to do laundry. And then the next day you're like, oh, I need to do another load of laundry. And then the next day. So with household chores, you can batch those. Okay. So you can go, no, I'm going to plan what I need at the grocery store. And by the way, you can get stuff delivered now, right? I'm going to plan what I need and I'm just doing it once for the week. I'm going to do batches, loads of laundry as much as you can, right? Twice a week instead of every day. Okay. Meal prep, kind of obvious, but some of you are winging it and you need some help there. So meal prepping is a very big deal. Errands and appointments. So errands and appointments would also be where you find yourself constantly running into town. You're doing errands. So what you want to be thinking about is scheduling certain times of the week and blocking a time for all of your errands. So let's say there is a parent-teacher meeting or a doctor's visit that is less, there's not a lot of room for, moving it. Then your other stuff, like dropping the dry cleaning off or whatever you're doing for errands, you batch those to hit those places when you're in town or going to the doctor's visit, instead of going to the doctor's visit one day. And then you have a parent-teacher conference the next day. Then you're running into town to drop off the dry cleaning. And then the next day you're at the grocery store. Like, you want to be thinking about this because I'm telling you guys, we're saving hours upon hours doing this, potentially days per month. Days you could be saving, weeks per year. Okay. Email and communication. This is something that I've had to work on and continue to work on. Instead of having all your notifications on, so all of mine are off except for text messages, and I can, unless I'm using my phone for a live, I put it on do not disturb. Phone calls can come through because I know the school's calling and stuff like that. I can tell by the number, or my husband or my kids, because they can call me through their little kid watch. And then text messages. So everything Slack, Voxer, Messenger, Facebook, Instagram, all those notifications are off. I've been around some of you in in-person events. I'm like, what is happening right now? I'm twitching because you've got ping, ping every 5 seconds. Do you know how bad that is for your brain? Watch The Social Dilemma. It's a documentary, and they will explain in the documentary that these apps have programmed you to respond. Like, what is it? Pavlov's dog or whatever, where the bell would ring and the dog would run to the bell or go eat or something. I don't even know what the study is. It's that same idea. Do you want to be responding like that? Or do you want to proactively respond on your own time? Just that alone, if you turn your notifications off, I'm positive you would have more peace and well-being throughout your day. And you would be able to consciously think about what you want to do next instead of reacting to everybody else's agenda. Brennan Burchard says that your email is everyone else's to-do list. Isn't that powerful? So true. So just batch that. So maybe you check email twice a day. You go into Messenger once a day. You check Facebook notifications once a day, or even better, maybe you can delegate that and have a VA help you out with that. Creative projects. This would be something that put a star by this one if you want to create the course, you want to write the book, you want to be able to get the podcast going, and you just keep finding yourself struggling to find time for it. It's if you look at the quadrant, what's the name of it, Abby? We talked about it last time. I can't remember, but you know the quadrant with urgent, not important, not urgent, not important. That quadrant, the not urgent but important is where things are created that will get you a result and make you money. But that's where people spend the least amount of time, in the quadrant of not urgent but important, because it's not urgent. So you're just like, I just won't do it. That's the stuff that's actually going to move you forward. Okay. So creative projects, scheduling those out, learning and personal growth. So I read a book every single week. And when I say read, sometimes it's on Audible, but I'm digesting at least one, sometimes two books a week. I fly through courses. I fly through material, podcasts, YouTubes, all kinds of stuff. And a huge part of that is because I schedule it and I have a rhythm for it. So find your own rhythm. What's going to work best for you? Admin and planning, using time blocks for administrative tasks, organizing and planning. So we plan, we do annual planning as a team. We do quarterly planning. We do monthly planning. We do weekly planning. And why that's so helpful is because we always know what's coming. We work backwards on it. And so everybody knows what's coming, the goals. And that's how we're able to create what we create here at Goal Digger. Okay, so here's an example of an organized calendar using time blocking. So if you look at the chart on the bottom, family, and this is how I color code on Google Calendar. So if you look at my calendar, this is just a made up one. But on my Google Calendar, yellow is my personal. You'll see yellow throughout for all the softball games, me exercising, church, all the kids stuff, family vacations. You'll see the yellow. So if I don't see enough yellow in any given week, I'm like, okay, what's missing? I'm like, oh, I need to schedule in my exercise, my workouts, right? So this is just an example. You can color code yours however you want. But look, we've got our miracle morning here. We're doing that before the kids get up. And we're going to do breakfast, kids, get them, school drop off or at the bus, whatever. So by the time the kids are dropped off and we get back home, 9:00, look at what we've accomplished. We've done our miracle morning. We've woken up. We've gotten ready for the day. We've got our kids off to school. And then what we're doing here is, so this one right here, we've got team meeting in green, and then we have client meeting. See how these are all back to back? You're going to want to do blocks of time for your client work. You're going to want to do blocks of time for a meeting. So if it worked out, you could even take this client meeting on Friday. Now, sometimes it can't work, right? But let's just say it could. The client meeting, we could put, actually, here's a great example. Okay, see the client meeting on Friday? It's green. If you could move that to Wednesday where it says record 3 YouTube videos and flip them, guess what? You just moved your Wednesday to all client meetings. So you're in that zone of working with clients and coaching or whatever you're doing with the client. And then on Friday now becomes creation time, because we've got the 3 YouTube videos from Wednesday. We're going to record those, going to have lunch, and then we're going to record 5 reels. So now we've got all kinds of creation happening on Friday. So it's a different part of your brain. It's a different mindset. It's a different rhythm. So isn't that cool? I mean, even just this little bit here that you're seeing, there's pockets of time that we could put more stuff in. So it might seem kind of weird to schedule unstructured time, but scheduling everything allows you to freely have unstructured time and not feel stressed out about it, because everything has a place. Where are my teachers at, right? In the classroom, everything has a place. That's how classrooms stay organized. Everything has a place. And you want to do that same thing here. Hi, my name's Kimberly Olson. I'm the creator of Goal Digger Girl Co. And I have decided to put together a productivity power pack for you that's completely free. These are the exact tools I've personally used to build my business to an 8-figure company, all on social media. So if you're somebody who wants to tap into the power of content templates that you can use on the fly and really level up your brand and be able to get hands-on training from me, be able to get a curated list of the specific tools we use to automate our business, the systems that we use, to be able to access an awesome Trello board we put together for you so you can tap into peak performance. And finally, a curated collection of editable planner templates for daily, weekly, and monthly tasks. So click the link below, and that way we can get you feeling extremely productive. It's time to crush the overwhelm, and it's time to get organized. Okay. Mastering time automation. This will be part of your homework, but you're going to do a brain dump of all the things you would like to add to your calendar. So you can start with this one as an example and just say, okay, I definitely want to do a miracle morning, or maybe you want to pray every morning, do your devotional, write in your journal. We call it miracle morning. That's what we teach in our programs. So call it whatever you want, but maybe you say, okay, I definitely want to schedule church. I definitely want to schedule, meal planning for the week, groceries, making dinner, whatever those things are for you. Just brain dump. Okay, what are all the things that you want? Maybe it's writing so many chapters per week for a book that you want to write. So you're going to do a brain dump of all the things that you would like to add to your calendar. Okay. Then mastering time automation. This is the process of doing just that. Okay. Let me know in the comments if this is making sense for you guys. Vivian, yes, everything has a place in a home. Mm-hmm. That's awesome, Christy. Mm-hmm. Eisenhower matrix. Perfect. Thank you. Kaz just brought up a great point. So I have written several books, as I told you guys about. These are all on, you can go on Amazon, type in Kimberly Olson books, and they'll come up. One of them is called Why Balance is BS. And I started noticing that, especially moms and women, they were trying to do it all and just be super women, and they were burning themselves out, kind of like what we've been talking about, the theme of that. And I thought, no, this is just BS. Like, this is unrealistic expectations, bunch of crap. So I wrote a book about it. And the whole book is all about productivity, time management, setting priorities, work-life balance, being successful in all areas, but not in the way that we've been told to be. And I did a lot of research on that in the book. And they said, if you are working on a task at your desk and the doorbell rings and say it's, FedEx, and then you need to sign something, right? When you get up, go to the door, deal with FedEx, sign the things, have a quick chat, get your box, bring it in, whatever. It would take you 23 minutes from when you left your desk to get back. And when you came to sit down, it would take about 23 minutes to get back into the task that you were doing. 23 minutes, not counting the FedEx time, 23 minutes. And so what Kaz is talking about is, let's say you're working on something and you get ping and you read a text message. Mentally, 7 minutes to get back into the thing that you're doing. So little interruptions like that, about 7 minutes. Bigger interruptions where you answer the door, you go talk to your spouse, you want to have a good relationship with your spouse, but it's so easy to be like, oh yeah. Oh, tell me about the weather, when you really should be working on something. Okay. Love that. Thank you for that feedback. Okay. Mastering time automation. Step 1, identify your key tasks. So how to get started. So first, you're going to list the most important tasks you need to accomplish each day. These are the tasks that directly contribute to your goals and should be prioritized. So when you time block, and let's say we'll just use launching a podcast for an example. You know that in order to launch your podcast, you need to figure out what the name of it's going to be, what it's going to be about. You're going to need to record like a little intro video. We have that all, by the way, a podcasting thing in the back office for Academy and Ignited Life Coaching. We have all the artwork, templates, and all that. Either way, you're sitting down, you're like, okay, what's it going to be called? What's it going to look like? Working through it, right? Well, you're going to need to schedule time on your calendar to do that. So you just keep thinking about it all the time, right? So that's a key task. That's important. If you want to get that podcast up and running, you got to figure out what it's going to be about. Step 2 is create a time block schedule. So design a daily or weekly schedule where you assign dedicated time blocks to each of your key tasks. Okay. So you might say from 9 to 11, that's my focused work. That's when I'm most productive. That's when I'm going to work on creating content. That's when I'm going to be planning the topics of my weekly Facebook Lives between now and the end of the year. That's when I'm going to sit down and work on my next conversion event. Okay. 1 to 2 is meeting time. So if people need to meet with you, 3 to 4 is planning and reflection. So before the day is done, and you don't do this late at night because usually it's hard to think and you're tired. So 3 to 4, plan and reflect. Okay. So how did it go? And then plan for the next day. It's really great to always review the next day before you go to bed, especially if you can do it before you kind of wrap up for the day. And then, of course, include buffer times for unexpected tasks or breaks. Also, if you can't get to something on your schedule, you need to reschedule it to another time. That's another thing I see is people will record reels on Tuesday at 11 and then they don't do it. And then it just, oh, I didn't do it. 3 weeks later, they're like, oh, shoot, I haven't been posting reels. If you can't get to it, you've got to reschedule it and move it somewhere else. Step 3 is set up automation reminders. So use digital tools like calendar apps or project management software. As we told you, we use Asana for project management. Also inside of Google Calendar, and there's calendars inside of Go High Level, Social Connector, some of these all-in-one platforms. So this is just what I've used for years and years and years and love it. With Google Calendar, what I do is I set up certain tasks on repeat and I get an email alert. I don't like just the notifications because if you dismiss them, then they're gone and I don't have notifications turned on my phone. So everything for me is if I need to do something, I get an email alert. Okay. So the email will say, plan your reels for the week, whatever it is. Now I have all of that in Asana and the tasks just pop up on my task list. And then once I check them off, they repopulate because they're set to reappear daily, weekly, monthly, whatever it is. Okay. Have some kind of reminder system in place so that way you automatically get reminded. Step 4 is to review and adjust regularly. So at the end of each week, review how well your time blocks worked. Did you stick to your schedule? The thing that you want to remember with all of this is you need to figure out your system. I'm showing you what's worked for me and our clients and different tools we've come up with to put together for this workshop series. And I don't know your flow. I don't know when your energy is highest. I don't know if you have a full-time job and you're building this business at night, right? I don't know if you have kiddos at home or an elderly parent that you're the primary caregiver for. I don't know your schedule. I don't know when your energy is highest. I don't know any of that. You do. Maybe you don't like computers. You want to do a pen to paper. Okay. I don't recommend that. I recommend that's why we have the digital planner for you guys. So you could see how you could take a paper planner and turn it into digital. And if you're going to use pen and paper planners, and I like to write things down, on paper for certain things, but we want to be able to automate some of this. So with a paper planner, it might be where if you have a certain action item on there that you write it for the next week and the next week, you could do that if you wanted to. That might be the way for you. You might just really not like Google Calendar and you want your pen and paper calendar you've had for 20 years. Great. You have to figure out what works best for you, but how can we automate that? How can we create a system? Okay. This is how we become more productive when we don't have to sit there and think about things all the time and reinvent the wheel over and over and over again. Here's an hour of power worksheet. I'm just going to go over it really quickly with you guys. We do go in depth in this inside of our programs, but we wanted to include it for reference for you guys. So the hour of power came up when I found that I was going to have to really get creative with the way I was going to build my business because of my schedule. So I came up with the hour of power, and I know other people teach this. I didn't create it and invent it. I don't even know where it originally came from, but my version of it is what you see here. I created this. Okay. The reason why I created it is because I found a lot of people input me in the comments, if you know what I'm talking about. They were doing their miracle morning. They were journaling. They were meditating. They were setting their goals. They were doing their personal development. So they're watching their YouTube video, they're training, their podcast, but they weren't doing anything in their business. So what this is, it's the yin and the yang. It's the input and the output. So the left side is the input, meaning you're filling up your cup. You're taking care of yourself. So you're going to do your miracle morning. You're going to come up with a power statement every day. I'm amazing. I'm a boss. I crush it. You're going to do your personal development, social media posting. Team taprooting means you're working with your team. If you're a network marketing, direct sales, affiliate, or if you have clients, could you send a client a message? Could you shoot them a thank you note in the mail? Could you go comment on their social media? It's kind of just making sure who you already have in your world that you're taking good care of them. And then top 3 action steps are just things that need to get done that day. What are the top 3 most important things? The right side is the outbound. This is you getting out there and really working your business. And I used to do a lot of guest trainings inside of network marketing teams when I was really, really involved in network marketing. And other leaders would have me come in. And if you're a leader, we can talk and I can come into your community. And I would come in and they would always ask me to teach their people how I built to being a top recruiter. And I was in the top 0.5% of network marketers for years and years. How did I do that? And I said, there's 3 things you have to do. You need to make new connections every day, which means you need to expand your friends list. You need to get in Facebook groups. You need to do collaborations, go follow people on Instagram, interact with other accounts. Every day you need new exposures, which means you tell new people about what you do, what you have, and ask them if they'd like to take a look at it. And you need to follow up every day. This is literally a $1 million plan right here. So that's it. Everybody thinks this is like complex thing and most people don't do it. So it's on here so that way you could quickly track your progress. Okay. Really easy way to say it's a scorecard, right? It's an easy way to keep track. And then the daily activity tracker came about because people wanted specifics. They're like, what are you actually doing every day in your business? So you can also call it your money-making activity. But what are the things in your business? And this is also in our programs, but we just included the sheet for you. What are the things in your business that are going to make you money? Okay, so that's a list of different things. Of course, you can completely customize it. So that's kind of the overview of time blocking, daily activity. What should you actually be doing every day when you're working in your business? Those are the things that you're going to want to figure out. Okay, so let's get into your homework. Implementing your automation strategy. So apply the strategies discussed in this chapter by identifying core systems to automate, selecting essential tools, and creating an actionable plan for seamless integration. So what we want to be thinking about is how can we come up with a plan and get really clear and just take the time, because most of you don't have extra time just to go and do this. Let's do it. Let's do it now. You're in this with us. Let's do it. Okay. So we're going to figure out what we want to do with our time blocking, our schedule, our productivity habits, and we're going to implement it. Okay. We're going to put the plan in place and we're going to implement it. So the first thing you're going to do is you are going to brain dump and categorize. So start by doing a complete brain dump of all the tasks, commitments, and activities you want to include in your schedule. And it might be an opportunity to let some things go. So we do this once a quarter as a team. It's called Start, Stop, Keep. We learned it from Jennifer Berkowitz, was an amazing coach we worked with a few years ago. And in it, what we do as a team is everyone gets a turn to do it. So you could do this on your own. There's no filter. Anything goes. We're not hurting anyone's feelings. Okay. And we do a start, stop, keep. So we say, what do we want to start doing? What do we want to stop doing? And what do we want to keep doing? So you might look at your schedule and say, okay, what is working? That's always a great place to start because it can build your confidence. You know, if you can start with what is working instead of beating yourself up, right? Start with that. What is working? Then I would say, what isn't working? So look at your current schedule right now. Ask yourself, are you trying to crush your empire at 11 o'clock at night and you're exhausted and there's nothing left? Instead, could we have you go to bed an hour earlier and then get up an hour earlier and do your time blocking or work on your business in the morning before your day starts? Okay. I always said forever that I could not get up early in the morning. And before the pandemic, I got myself to a point, I kept inching it up, where I would get up at 4:30 in the morning. I know that's so early. And the reason why I did it is because if I could get up at 4:30, I could get myself ready for the day. And then I would sit down, I would do all my, Miracle Morning stuff, work on my business a little bit. And then at the time, the girls were so little, they were still in diapers. So it would take some time to, get up in the morning, get them out the door, drop them off at daycare. And then it was like an hour and a half across town to my job. And when I got to that point, that's when things really started shifting, because it was like I set my day up for success. I started manifesting and attracting things I wanted. Things just started falling in place. It was just magical. It really was. And I'm so glad that I was able to get to that point to get up early instead of trying to do everything at night when you're so tired. There's just not a lot left. So this could be a good time to ask yourself, is that working for you? Okay. So what is working? What isn't? And then what would you like to be doing that you're not? I'd love for you guys to share in the comments. What would you like to be doing that you're currently not doing? So common things I see with clients is they want to be creating content consistently. So they would like to be, recording reels or putting reels together. It's a common one. Another one that I see is they want to be let me drag this down. I can't see. They want to be able to do stories every day, but they keep forgetting to do their stories. And that's something that's going to take a discipline. You're going to have to put it right in there. Post in my stories. Okay, what are you going to post in your stories, right? So you might need to create some content. You might record yourself talking for a second, right? Often people will want to start something for their miracle morning. So they want to start journaling every day or meditating every day or setting their intentions for the day or doing a gratitude practice every day. So what are some things that maybe you're not doing right now that you would like to start doing? Or it could be on a weekly basis. You do want to go live every week. I'm telling you guys, this keep saying it forever. Live video and short form video is dominating. Okay. People who are doing that every week or releasing short form video every day are crushing it. It's the top of the top of the top. Okay. Are there anomalies to that? Of course, there are anomalies to everything, but I'm telling you, just, you guys stop resisting that and just build a bridge. Maybe it just needs to be in your schedule. Maybe you're like, oh my gosh, I just keep forgetting to do it. This word, I can't stand this word only because it doesn't serve you, is the word try. I'm going to try to go live every week. Okay. I have a pen right here. So I'm going to try to pick up this pen. I mean, you can't try to pick up a pen. You pick up a pen. So why don't you go at your goals that way? Go after your objectives that way, that you're just going to do it. When you say try, you're like, maybe, right? No, none of that. Okay. We don't have time for that. If you literally want to do this, then just say you're going to do it. How do you do that? You put it in your schedule. And that way you are not going to skip it. You're not going to miss it, which is essential. Okay. Brain dump and categorize. Create your time block schedule. So your second task is using the brain dump and categories, create a draft of your time block calendar for the week. So actually, I'm going to ask the team to do me a huge favor. Abby, I know we have it somewhere. I think it's in the high performance coach certification. If you guys can't find it, I can find it at the break. But we have a one pager. We'll just do probably a PDF or an image. We're going to include it in guide number 7 for you guys. It's a blank one. What I'd love for you to do is to print that off. Okay. Or if you don't have a printer, which I would recommend getting a printer at some point, is take a pen and paper. I have my notebook right here. So I like to do a lot of planning and creation in my magical goal digger notebook. So I put the big stuff in here. Okay. And the reason why I like it, let me see if there's an example of me writing out a schedule. I think I just did this for something. Yeah. See? Okay. So I just did this for something recently. So what you're going to do is, it's for the Boss Lady Blueprint coming out. You guys don't know about that yet. Okay. The Boss Lady Blueprint's right here. And so what I did is I wrote out a whole plan for something that we're teaching in October. So what you can do is you could write Monday through Sunday on here, and then you could list and just put like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, you know what I mean? Just write that on the side. And you could just loosely write it out there if you don't have a printer. So we'll include that for you guys. We'll put that in guide number 7, and you can use that blank calendar to map out. Okay. So you want to put together your goal as far as time blocking. What do you want your schedule to look like? It's interesting when I ask people, what do you really want? Like, what do you really want? They're like, I don't know. I just want to be successful. It's like, well, great. Like, you got to get a little more specific. Okay. And then, go back up above so you can make sure you don't miss anything. Task 3 is to implement and test. So test it out. What were you able to stick to it? Did any task consistently take more or less time? You're going to start adjusting and monitoring. And then we're going to reflect and optimize. Okay. Were you able to stick to it? What worked? What didn't? Kind of that same thing. Okay. All right, Goal Digger, as you can see, automation doesn't have to be scary. It doesn't have to be overwhelming. And it is essential to be able to become more productive and get more done. So as a reminder, we have some free resources for you below. Hit the subscribe button. I don't want you to miss any of these videos. There are more in this series. There are playlists on this channel. So definitely browse and binge and share this with a friend. Thank you for watching. Until next time, get lit in your business and set your soul on fire. We'll see you soon.